All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Continuum of Care point-in-time training for our Western region. So that's with Illinois Valley. My name is Jessica Pauley, and I am the HMIS lead here in the Continuum. I do the computer side with Service Point, help out in other ways with the data for the Continuum. As most, I think all of you are already muted. But please keep your computer muted unless you have a question. That way we can kind of cut down some of the background noise. And then if you need to take a phone call, use the restroom or whatever, feel free to do that. We are going to be recording this session, and I will provide that link to Paige so she can send that out to you as well. So if you miss something, it'll be recorded for you. All right. So what is a point-in-time count? Our COC is required to do this by HUD. We have to plan and conduct a point-in-time count of homeless persons in our geographic area. We then have to submit this data through the HUD HDX website. HUD looks at our number of homeless individuals in the area, and our funding level is based on that. So it is very important that we get an accurate count to ensure that all the individuals that are homeless in our area have the opportunity to have assistance. So what do we do first? The first step we'd like to do for the point-in-time count is to contact local agencies that have previously given vouchers to homeless individuals to let them know that you'll be contacting them on the day of the point-in-time count. These agencies could be SSVF, Catholic Charities, churches, all sorts of agencies like that that have given hotel vouchers in the past. We also would like you to contact local law enforcement officials to let them know what you plan on doing and what day the point-in-time count is. This helps the law enforcement officials know that if they see you out canvassing, or if they get a call from someone letting them know that you're driving around at that time of night, just kind of what we're doing. It just helps kind of facilitate that. We'd also like you to contact your local hotels in your area to let them know, to have them let you know if they've housed anybody that is homeless during the day of the PIT. Also, you can review your PIT log for locations to visit during the point-in-time count. This year, we did add a new form. We plan to use this form when we are contacting our hotel providers or emergency shelter operators about the PIT. It is called a risk factors form. This form allows us to gain valuable insight on what factors are associated with first-time homelessness. So when you're calling the hotels to kind of let them know what we're doing and what day our count is on, go ahead and just ask them these questions. It's pretty simple, only 5 questions, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up to show you quickly here. Okay, so this form has 5 questions like we talked about, and this just gives us an idea on what is causing individuals to become homeless in our counties. So when you're speaking to those hotel operators or those agencies that are putting people in emergency shelter, these questions help us get their input on what they're seeing and what they are seeing as those first-time factors that are causing that. So you just go down and fill in whatever answers that they give you, and then go ahead and just send this back to me directly once you've completed it. We will use this information to help us write our COC application, and we'll use it to also help tailor our services to make sure that we're providing the best services needed by those homeless individuals in our counties. Let me go ahead and pull back up the PowerPoint. If you were with the agency last year, you know that last year's count was a little bit different. This year, HUD is requiring both a sheltered and an unsheltered count, similar to the count we conducted in 2019. So for this year, we will use the same PIT form for both sheltered and unsheltered individuals. Sheltered individuals are those who may be staying in a hotel or an emergency shelter, and then unsheltered individuals would be those who are either in a vehicle, in an abandoned building, outside, on the street. That's the difference between those 2 types of categories. When you're canvassing the area, if you find a homeless individual, please ask them all of the questions on the PIT survey form. We do ask that you be safe with COVID-19. We please ask you keep 6 feet of distance and mask up when speaking to homeless individuals to keep them safe and as well as to keep you safe as well. We'll continue to call local agencies to gain information on the sheltered individuals the same way we did last year. So in preparation for the count, make enough copies of your PIT survey form, make a copy of your PIT log for each staff member and discuss where each person is going. Also discuss what times so we can make sure we're not duplicating the same individuals being counted more than one time. And make a plan as to who is counting at what time and what area. I will pull up the PIT log form now to show you that. Okay, so this form is what we call our PIT and time log form. This is kind of a way where you can plan out your night or the day that you're doing the PIT to make sure that we get all the locations that you believe you might have homeless individuals, and also to make sure that we're not counting them more than once by multiple people. So for instance, say you're going to the laundromat, you put the laundromat, the address, and then the time you went there, and the outcome would be any individuals that you found during that count. A lot of times I will suggest people go ahead and fill out the name of the location and the address beforehand. So it kind of gives you a checklist. The night of the PIT, you can go through and find and check all those places that you had already previously listed. PowerPoint. Okay, so during the count, as always, but especially this year with COVID, safety is the first priority. We are asking that if you approach someone that you believe is homeless to keep that 6 feet of distance and also wear a mask. The counting starts with the point in time survey form. So it's very, very important that you write legibly. On every form, I need you to write your agency name, the county that you were in, the region. So for you guys, that region would be Western, and then also your name. That helps me if I've got any questions, I would know who to contact. And also to make the form easier to fill out, we have changed it to include some check boxes, so not everything has to be written in. Questions on the form include where are they staying tonight, how many people are staying together, their name, the best way to contact them, and their contact information. If someone provides you with more than one way to contact them, please include both forms of communication on there. Household information, birth date, gender, ethnicity, race, disabilities, domestic violence questions, veterans questions, and chronically homeless questions. If an individual is staying in a hotel or a motel, as long as it was paid for by a church or another agency and not by the individual themselves, it is important that we record the following information: the name of the church and the agency providing that assistance, that church's address or agency's address, a contact name and phone number, and then towns that the agency serves. If it's an agency that serves multiple towns, so it covers multiple counties, you can just put the county on there. That's the case. For our chronically homeless question, in order to mark yes that they are chronically homeless, they must first be disabled and then have one of these two qualifications on the questions listed below. The first one says, have you slept in any of the locations listed in question 1 every night for the last year? So that question is asking if they've been homeless for an entire year, 365 days consecutively. Or the question will say, have you slept in any of the locations listed in question 1 4 or more times in the last 3 years, totaling to at least 12 months? This question is asking if they've been homeless for at least 12 months over the past 3 years. Okay. Our schedule of the count, we will be doing our point in time count on January 26th. Ideally, HUD would like us to have coverage from sundown to sun up. We suggest counting in 4-hour blocks, but however works for your agency, you can work with Paige on that to get that figured out. Before the count, we also need individuals to contact those local churches and agencies to see if they have placed anyone in a hotel or motel for that time period. And then of course it's helpful to make a schedule of who will be canvassing which areas and why, or in which areas and when, excuse me. For our count, the same as we did last year, we are doing it so if someone comes in within that last week of January, so say somebody enters your outreach office on the 28th, the outreach staff is allowed to ask them where they slept on the night of the 26th, and we can count that during our count. So just keep that in mind, that we can do that for the last week of January, retroactively for the 26th. So turning in the forms need to be delivered to me by February 10th. I believe that Paige would have you send them to her and she will compile them and send them to me. That's how we've done it in the past. Paige, are you back on the call yet?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, all forms will just be sent over to me and then I'll put it all together and send it all to you.
Okay, perfect. When do you want those forms sent to you, Paige?
Okay, let's see. I would say you want them by the 10th.
Yes.
So I need all of them by the 4th, and that'll give me that next week to work on them to get them to you by the 10th. So February 4th.
All right. So now I will pull up the PIT survey form. And then do we have any questions on any of the training material so far? So this will be the form that you use when you are counting on the 26th. As we talked about in the training, here's the line for the agency, the location, the interviewer's name, the region, the county, and the time. The location, please be as specific as possible. Same thing with down here. When somebody, so for instance, say somebody's staying in a vehicle, please put where that is. That's, Walmart parking lot or, on the side of the road at this street. The more information you can give us here, the better. That helps us to make sure we're not duplicating that count. For sponsor information, that would be if they're staying in a hotel paid for by a church or another agency. So the contact name would be the contact for that agency. This is just household information, how many adults and how many children are staying together. And then for each household, you will fill out one of these boxes. If someone is not willing to give you all of this information, just get whatever information they can give you. For instance, if somebody's not willing to give you their full name, see if they'll give you their initials. If they're not willing to do that, please go ahead and put some kind of identifying information in there. For instance, if you found somebody sleeping in a red sleeping bag on the corner of 6th Street, you could put, red sleeping bag, something on there so that we will have some way to tie that back to specific individuals. For each of these boxes, you should be able to check one checkbox in there. If you have a family or a household that is more than 4 people, go ahead and just fill out another form and just connect that, staple it together to the other one. That may happen. We do have some larger households sometimes. All right, what other questions do we have? Paige, do you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about with your staff?
I do not have any questions. I do have a couple people who will be new at this year, and I will reach out to them individually. We don't do a lot of in-person contact. I will send out a separate email for each county, where you do need to kind of drive around and look on that day. But being we are pretty rural, we're aware if somebody is homeless. Most of the homeless people we are going to find are going to be ones that we have actually went through the ROE and put into hotels. The hotels in your area may have some people that we are not aware of. But yeah, most of ours is going to be phone calls, and everybody will get a list of who they need to call.
All right. I did go ahead and record this. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now.